Hello and welcome to the Deal Room podcast. My name is Parham Shakeri and I'm a real estate broker.
And I'm Hasty Kiamehr, and I'm a mortgage broker. A Deal Room podcast is where real estate, mortgage, and investment opportunities collide. And as your host and industry professional who lives and breathes deals, we bring you to the behind the scenes of how investors, agents, brokers, and professionals collaborate to close the deal, grow, and scale. Whether you are a new investor, experienced flipper, or a real estate or mortgage agent looking to sharpen your edge, this podcast is your front row seat to real talk, real strategy, and real results.
Nice. So our mission here is basically to provide some insights. If you're a skilled investor, or if you're new to the industry, we hope to bring something new to the table for everyone. Either you learn something, we learn something from our guests. We're going to try and bring in as much different guests with different stories as possible and basically have an entertaining, informative podcast. And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Our combined experience, I think, brought so many interesting stories. Some of them are great, some of them are lesson learned, but most importantly, because of our profession, we also meet a lot of other professionals that can bring so much experience and so much stories for our audience. And I'm really, really looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
Really looking forward to all that stuff.
it's gonna be entertaining. So
For
Hassie,
sure, for
I'm
sure.
gonna jump right into it. Okay. My first question. Okay, ready for it? It's our first episode. First question. What time did you
First
wake up
question.
this morning?
Oh, dear. So you already know, right? It's already like, it's clear that you want to put me on spot. I woke up at 5 a.m. That's how I usually wake up.
Nice.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's a bit of a shocker for a lot of people.
Well, no, the reason I'm talking about that is because people are gonna see this. People do know you, and for the people who are going to get to know you, I don't want them to think that it's easy. I want them to know that success takes effort. It takes consistently. It takes waking up at 5 in the morning. Now, I don't wake up at 5 in the morning, but you do, and you have your routine in the morning. You have your own, proper ways of doing things, like your own way of it, and consistency. And I'll ask you, what is it that you do? The first thing you do when you wake up? I know, just let the listeners know.
I actually read books. I read books. I'm obsessed with books, and I read books. It's funny you say that. It's because it's actually one of the books that you bought me. It's called The Laws of Luck. In that book, it mentions how people who are the luckiest are the one who work the hardest. It's just that people just see the end result and like, you were lucky. It just fell on your lap, and because of this and that, I couldn't do it. But it really is. I don't believe in luck. I don't think it's luck. I think it's just what you want, and you just work hard for it.
You make your own luck. I like it. You set your own luck.
Exactly.
And for gentlemen who are listening, did you hear that? It's brownie points. That's what we do. Now, Ashley, after you read your book, what is a typical day in a life of a mortgage broker?
Okay. Uh, you have to start at least. That's how I start, and it's according to every book that talks about success, and according to every person who's successful. How you start your day is how your rest of the day goes, right? So I start with reading the book. I exercise. I have my morning routine, and then I do a little bit journaling,
Ooh.
and then I take a look at my plan for the rest of the day, as well as and I get ready. So I work from home. I became a agent a little before a pandemic, right? And I'm already a broker. I have a team, right? This whole pandemic definitely gave me a lot of experience, but I have been working from home. I don't think I would want it any other way. As you know, I don't really like to be in traffic and find entrances. So
No
it's
one
a
does.
perfect job for me. Yeah, but honestly, it's like but I get up in the morning and I get ready for work though. So I have my work clothes on, I do my makeup, and puts me on a mindset. Now I'm working. And when all this is removed, it takes me out of that mindset. Now it's rest time.
Okay, just before you get further,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want the listeners to know when you say you work from home, you do majority of your work from home, but doesn't mean that you're strictly at home. Like your
Oh,
job
no.
is not just at home. Like I've seen you go to various networking events, meet and greets with lenders, BDMs, all these different events. You go training, you're meeting with your employees, or sorry, your teammates, your mentee,
Yeah.
your mentor, and you have your one-on-one. So yeah, the majority of your work behind the computer is at home. But just for our listeners' sake, just to know, it's not that you're at home all the time. You're out there. It's not, because who knows, maybe some of the listeners, they want to become mortgage agents, right? And if we just tell them like, oh yeah, I'm at home, they're gonna think, awesome. Like I'd love to do that. Like stay at home. I
No,
love
no, for sure. Like one on in it's still out there. There's face-to-face meeting, relationship building, and belly-to-belly networking still the best way. You know, we all kind of got used to Zoom networkings during the pandemic, but let's be real, just face-to-face is much better. As a mortgage specialist, especially as a mortgage broker, you have to, and it's expected for you to show up to certain things, to like be meeting up with BDMs, building that relationship. We do once a month with my team. We do a fun night out,
Oh yeah.
because yes, leaving your office is definitely necessary for your job and your mental health, for sure.
Mhm.
But yes, other than that, I do majority of my like work at home, just because an hour that I'm sitting in traffic going to the office and doing the same thing that I'm going to be doing at home, I could be closing two deals, right? As I mentioned, I am just not the type who likes traffic much for my
Yeah,
mental health. Is this,
you don't want like the
but
traffic.
it's also important to separate your, especially if you're working from home majority of time, just separate your personal life from work life. So whatever you set, like that's what I do, how I set it, to separate those two, because then they can easily blend in. You're home, okay, like I can just continue working, and next thing you know, you're working from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m., and that's not good either. I'm also going to prepare our listeners, because if when they listen to our podcast, they're going to hear this. It's not gonna, there's nothing we can do. We are a parent of a tiny little chihuahua. She's a teacup chihuahua who has a lot of personality. Her name is Killer, and she doesn't like it when her parents are not paying attention and just working. So she barks in the background, pretending at someone else that she's protecting us from. But you're going to hear it, and there's nothing we can do.
So
I
just
hope you
let the
understand.
audience know we got our personal bodyguard. So if you have any thoughts about doing anything, hey, we gotta be careful. We got backup there. She'll hopefully she'll make an appearance. I know it's a podcast and people are listening to it, but they'll hear her as well.
Yeah.
Now, today in our podcast, my goal is to basically pick your brain and provide our listeners with an insight into the mortgage world, into maybe wanting to become a mortgage agent, or they are mortgage agents and they're struggling. Because I've seen how you work, I've seen how you are with your team and the training that you provide and the resources that you have that you provide, and but the way you do things. And being in this industry for as long as I have, I had an opportunity to meet different mortgage specialists, finance specialists, mortgage agents, and one of the first things that I think I adored about your the way that you explain financing is when I asked you, I'm like, hey, my client's looking for a mortgage. And you turn around and you tell me, okay, what kind of product do they want? And I was just like, what? Product? They want a mortgage. Like, what are we at Walmart? Come on. They want a mortgage. And you turn around. Could you explain to me what that means? Like, what do you mean? What kind of product do you want? Tell me, what do you mean by product?
So I see for our first episode, you decided to put me on hot seat. Okay,
Oh yeah.
okay, that's okay. I'll go first. That's fine. So yeah, so when it comes to mortgages, people think mortgage, just a loan for a home,
You're
and they
fixed.
usually, yeah, they just like think also like it's very specific, 5-year fix, and they think about banks. What a lot of people don't know how many monolenders, like across Canada, just between banks, monolenders, credit unions, and privates, we have over hundreds of lenders, and it's adding every day, right?
For those who are listening right now and they're just like, what? No, she is still speaking English. And in our future episodes, we will explain different types of loans and lenders. This is just a little introduction, okay? But if you have any questions, you could always email or give Hasty a call at info@mortgageswithhasty.com. It's her email. So just letting you know. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to give that little 2 cents for all the listeners.
I appreciate that, right? Yeah, but like monolender is probably the one that people are gonna be like, what? Because they work strictly with brokers. And what a lot of people misunderstand is that they think they're B lenders. They're not. They are monolenders, which means they only deal with mortgages, no credit cards,
Parham.
but they have, the majority of them have an A side and they have a B side.
Huh.
But each one of those lenders have different products depending on your situation.
I mean, so a different product. So you can't just go to a mortgage specialist. Well, you could. I'm sure there's incompetent mortgage agents that you could go and tell them you want that, and they'll just go and get you what you want, and they won't do the due diligence that Hassie does and goes and gets you the best product for you. Basically, that's just what that means. The best loan, the best mortgage. So that's why a competent mortgage broker, in my opinion, will refer to a mortgage as a product. So if you
Yeah.
go to a specialist, I'm sorry if I'm throwing someone on the rug here. If you're a mortgage agent and you're not calling it a product, this is your sign. Okay, get with the time, call it a product. It just makes you sound more confident, more competent, and it shows that you know your trade. So when you go to and speak to someone who's trying to find you a loan, who's trying to get you a mortgage or whatever, just and they refer to it as a product and they ask you what kind of product you want, and you take that person seriously because they know what they're talking about. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am coming to see you, right? I come in and or we have like our first phone conversation. Like, how does it work? Like, I want to get started. Okay. I spoke to my realtor, right? Parham or Parham, however you twist your tongue. And he's like, hey, call my mortgage specialist, get pre-qualified, find out how much you could afford. So what happens? So my name is Tom, and I give you a call or whatever. What do I do? How do I get in touch with you? What is it about? Like, tell me the whole ordeal.
First, I would call Parham. I would say mortgage broker or an agent
Mhm.
because mortgage specialists are in the bank. The major difference is that we have to hold license. We have to follow whole like it's basically we're independent.
See, I know I always make that mistake.
That's okay. A lot of people do
Mortgage
that. A lot
license.
of people do. But also, this is also that's what I'm going to do, and this is how I also train my agents. Is that first of all, we do what is called discovery call, right? It's literally a call where we talk to clients and ask them a bunch of questions very specifically, because as much as we want to think like everybody knows about their own finances, you'd be shocked that a lot of people actually don't know a lot of details. So we don't ask questions. We ask the questions in a very specific ways to make sure that we're getting the correct answers. I'll give you an example, right? So I would say, do you have any debt, right? And if you say no, however, if you co-signed for someone else's debt, you don't know, majority of people don't know, that means including part of your debt. Because that's technically not my debt, I co-signed for someone else. Doesn't matter. Co-signing means you accepted that responsibility if that person is not able to make the payments.
Oh yeah, so
So when
buyer beware. You can
yeah,
find it
right.
unless you know what you're doing.
So I asked the question like this, and I've trained my agents to ask the question, do you have any debt? That includes credit card, line of credit, student loan, car loan, personal loan, and co-signing for anybody else's debt,
Nice. So
right?
it's personal. So right, you gotta ask, you gotta get
Right?
nitty and greedy. You gotta find out what's going on with their financial.
Now, through that interview, you're trying to figure out the client situation as well as what kind of documents you need to collect. And we collect the documents that we need, check credit. I know a lot of people will like my bank didn't ask for anything. And the bottom line is those are needs to be checked. As a client, you might not know there are certain things in your, let's say, T1 general, which also a lot of people don't know what T1 general is. And then they might not accept because that is not your profession to know, right? So we need to check everything.
So you're getting way too detailed right now. Our listeners are gonna have like a million questions now.
Well, that's the point of it.
No,
That's the
I
point
get
of
it.
it,
I
right?
get
Ask
it.
questions. But the bottom line is that when we are checking for all that stuff, is that we're trying to put the portfolio together and trying to find a product. There's 100 lenders, they each have so many lenders. How do you know which product? It's between the client's wants and needs and letting the file itself speak to you. Like when my agent said, well, how would I know? Like, how would I know where to shop? Like, let the file speak to you. It will tell you.
And
For
that's
which,
even the discovery call. So
yeah, not just discovery call, right? So if I have a file that when, I don't know, it's a stated income, we see that's how we know that, self-employed person, have a lot showing on their, T1 general. So we have to do stated income. That's a stated income. That's certain lenders. So we know now we have to go under these lenders, right? So the file itself will speak to you, and that's where you get
very nice.
started.
Okay, so you had our discovery call. Okay. So what's the next step? So once you do the discovery call, is that
Yeah,
enough for you to be able to pre-qualify someone for a certain amount of dollars?
no. As I mentioned,
Oh,
right? We have to collect certain documents. We have to check. We have to do the credit check. And no, and I'm going to answer people's question that they're going to ask because I get asked that. No, we cannot accept the report that you get yourself from
oh, you couldn't.
Equifax. Because a lot of people is like, I have the report. I'm like, no, you can't. The consumer report is very different from the broker report. And
Okay.
we need the broker report because that's what the lender checks.
Okay. So
But what I can
overall,
tell you is that I pull one report and I use that one report for all the shopping that I'm going to do for you.
okay, that makes sense.
Right?
And by
Yeah,
that you mean you're going to use that one report to go and see different products, right? Just for
exactly. Shop around for
and I understand your lingo, but hey, the people listening, they're like, what?
I'm a professional
Hold on,
shopper,
you're gonna take my
personal
credit and you're
shopper
gonna go
for
shopping
mortgages.
with it?
It's a product. I go shopping with it. I see what I can get for you, what price, what kind of policy,
So,
all that stuff.
okay, so let's say what's the turnaround? Like how long should I be expecting? Let's say I'm very good at
Organized.
giving you my documents. Okay. So you ask me for A, B, C, D, I give you A, B, C, D within 24 to 48 hours. Okay. When you receive all the documents that you need from me, right, to be able to have my file speak to you and you be able to go and do your search and your shopping around for different products for me, how long should I be expecting to get some sort of a pre-qualification or a budget so I could go out with my amazing realtor and shop for some houses? So after you go shopping, how long does it take for me to go shopping with the documents?
Um, if there is no issues and we don't need to further have the lender see if they ask certain exception, if it's straightforward, it takes about 24 hours to 3 business days.
Okay.
And that's 24 hours of business hours, right? So because
But if there's some difficulties, I know this has happened. Like I've actually introduced. I had a client of mine give me a call and say, "Hey, I want to go buy a house." I think it was last week or so, right? And
Yeah,
I had them contact you, and then there was a little bit of issue. Something with the employment wasn't long enough, so you had to get some sort of exceptions. That still was very quick. You turn it around very quick. Like I don't want to tell people that it only took 2, 3 days, but those take a little bit longer because then you have to rely on like the answers and be able to communicate with so on and so forth, right? So
exactly. If we can just do it straightforward, it's fine. But if it needs to, because like that's another thing I do ahead of a time. If I feel like an exception is needed on a file, I go to the lender and I see if they can get exception and what's needed. And sometimes that exceptions, they have to go upper into the management, and that takes time. You have to understand. And some people say, "Why is it taking so long?" They have to prioritize active files that are closing over the ones
yeah,
that are just looking
my
at.
client didn't ask that because you told them straightforward. You're like, hey, this
Yeah,
is this, and it's going to take at least this amount. And it just when you give information to people, now this is for all the professionals that are listening, whatever your trade is. If there is something that you see that's a red flag or something that's gonna, possibly delay anything, let your client know. Let the person you're servicing know. And that way they'll be okay. Like they'll wait, they won't harass you, they won't call you every day. Like, hey, what happened? Well, I told you. This is the process, this is the update. And the way I see you do it, you update your clients every day. Like you're so good at keeping in touch and communicating. But whoever's listening and you're professional, whatever your trade is, and something is not normal, it's not typical. It might take an extra day, 2, 3, a week, whatever it is. Let them know right away. Like, don't try and surprise
uh,
them. Don't try and like bring it out. That
yeah. I feel like agents are afraid to do that because they're like, "Oh, I don't want to say there's a problem with this," and then the client like leaves. Like, listen, if they're gonna leave, they're gonna leave,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But another person that, as a mortgage brokers, because I've seen mortgage brokers do that, and it brings obvious frustration for realtors, is that they forget about the realtor. You also need to update your realtor because they're also waiting
oh yeah,
because they need to not take the client
oh
shopping.
yeah,
They're like, "Okay, what is happening? Are we going? Are we not going?"
yeah.
And even
Like,
after when you have like accepted offer, accepted file, like they need to know this is their
mhm.
file, this is their client date, this is their income,
Yeah, because
right?
usually in my experience, people are unrealistic. Like they could afford $1 million and they're out there looking at 1,500,000. What? What? Like, and they're sending me listings. Hey, I saw this on this website. I saw this on that website.
Yeah.
And I just turn around and tell them, like, okay, did you speak to your mortgage broker? Like, do you have something that tells you that you could afford this? And they always think like they make a lot more than they do. It's like, no, I could afford it. And then you turn around and tell me, like, yeah, this is what we could do. And then there's a problem that I see that a lot of people out there get themselves into this problem is not getting educated, right? Not doing the homework, not going to the right professional and kind of leaping in to a deal. Like, at least nowadays with the state of our market, it's a little bit different. Like buyers have a little bit more, I guess, availability to putting in the financial conditions and whatnot. But just at least in my industry, the issue that I see is a lot of realtors are not doing their homework. They're taking their clients at their word. I love my clients, but verbal communication is one thing, and getting something in writing saying that, hey, this is what we are qualified for, this is the product that we have. That's what I rely my search on. Because why am I
Yeah.
showing you a property that you can't afford? And then later on, you go and you buy this property and you pull all your strings, you get help from this, private that, and then you become house poor. And
Yeah.
what?
And to be honest with people, what they don't realize is that buying a home, it's not like your realtor separate, your mortgage broker separate. It's a teamwork. They really need to be aware of everything within. So one of the things I personally do is that as soon as I get the client, I'm like, okay, if Parham is not the realtor, or even if the Parham is, because we have to actually ask consent from the client to share things, I'm like, introduce me to your realtor, your lawyer. You don't have it, I can introduce mine, but also, can I have a consent? And I put us in a little group chat. Because also, again, clients don't know, it's not their profession, as well as like, it's a very exciting but stressful time for a client at that point. So they might not either know how serious certain things or important certain details are, or they forget. Like, so I just get a call. I just got on a call. I ask for consent. I talk to the realtor himself. I'm like, okay, this file, for example, this is the maximum they can go. The lender is not going to accept certain properties because of this. And we need to have at least this much condition of financing because of that. And
I know what COF is, but someone listening right now, like,
even condition of financing is a little bit hard, but that's the thing. If I tell the private secretary, this is what we need for COF, I don't need to explain to him. He understands. It's his profession, right? But client might not be able to translate this to the realtor and importance of it because it's not their profession. And the realtor goes out there trying to make sure they get the best deal and not give us enough conditional financing. Right?
Yeah.
So make sure your team is involved and they know what each part is doing.
Gotta be communicating. You gotta be communicating. Earlier in my real estate career, I wasn't doing that, and it was making everything tough. It's like trying to play broken telephone, right? You call your client, hey, what did the finance person say? And then the finance person calls the client, what did your realtor do? Right? But when you get everyone in touch, you get your professional, you get your team together, right? Like how we have, it just makes everything smoother, right? It gets everything going. If there is any problems, like if my client goes and buys a couple of Labubus, which I had no clue what it were, my finance specialist could be like, hey, don't do that. Not before you're closing. Don't go on vacation before closing, or don't purchase that.
Don't buy the red truck. Don't buy the red truck.
You know, like I would personally, I'm kind of like, someone tells me like I'm going on vacation or I'm buying a red truck, depending on the type of truck, I'm going to be very excited for it.
Yeah.
But that's my
the mortgage broker, on the other hand, is crying.
So that's exciting. Well, I appreciate your time. And this episode was awesome. I picked your brain. Obviously, we're going to talk about mortgages a lot more detailed. But I just wanted.
No, I feel like, babe, on our next episode, you should be on hot seat.
Oh, yeah, no, don't worry. It is summer right now, so it will be pretty hot. Now, I appreciate your time again. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Parham Shakeri. I'm a real estate broker at your service, and I'm here with
Hasty Kiamehr, a mortgage broker.
Yeah, and mortgages with Hasty. Don't hesitate to give us a call or send us an email if you have any questions.
Okay, we're excited to see you and you guys in our next episode. And please leave us a comment and tell us how we did. Just be nice. Just be nice.